Welcome back to another episode of the Z4 project. So today is going to be pretty simple. The main idea is to just change the transmission fluid, the rear diff fluid, and stuff like that. Possibly the front end, but more than likely that will be in a later episode. And let's get into it.
A few minutes later.
So my dad isn't really technologically savvy when it comes to phones, so just ignore that it's upright.
Okay, so we're filling it up from up above through a hose. I put a little poke hole in it so it vents, drains a little quicker. But this will take a while because it's such a small hose.
According to BMW, we shouldn't change the oil. Maybe we shouldn't change the transmission fluid. Alright, well, now that that's done, I need to find the fill plug because, having fluid in your transmission seems pretty important. Another edit in here. Basically, the rear end is actually lower. The shocks are physically lower than the ones on the front. And essentially, when the car sits on even ground, it very slightly looks like a truck that is squatted. Go look it up on Google Images and you will see what I mean.
A few minutes later.
So, an unexpected step because I realized that it would actually be pretty easy in the current state it's in. Replace the transmission mounts. The ones in here are really bad. You can move the transmission. So, it's actually pretty easy to do. They're just little rubber things held in by a cross brace. So it's pretty simple. Just take a jack stand. Now, be careful what jack stand you use due to, if you haven't heard about the Harbor Freight thing, where the jack stands collapse. But basically, take a jack stand, hold up the transmission so it does not fall out, and simply unbolt it. There's 4 bolts holding this current one on, and then just replace the rubber mounts. It's that simple. So now that it's out, it's dirty. It's from a high mileage car. But just to show you how bad these are, this is a new mount. And this is the current mount. We're just gonna engine degrease this up a little bit and then put the new ones on. So it's magically 1 o'clock in the morning because I forgot to film the ending clip, but to sum it all up, the transmission fluid was changed, which is always good, and the transmission mounts are done. Now, the transmission mounts were really bad, same with the motor mounts, I already know that, which I do have replacements, and that will get done in time. Nonetheless, one step closer to being drivable. Now all I need is the DMV to open. But if you liked today's video, leave a like, favorite, and subscribe. And if you didn't, leave a dislike and don't subscribe. It doesn't matter to me. Anyway, this has been the BMW Z4 series, and I will be joining you in the next episode on the front end.